It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the movies of February 28th, 1992, the last weekend of February, and we have 5 movies to look at today, so let's go ahead and jump right on into it, and we'll start off with our first movie here, John Carpenter's Memoirs of an Invisible Man, starring Chevy Chase and Daryl Hannah. You know, time and time again, we've been given the proof that directors can also direct both horror and comedy. Like John Landis is a perfect example. I mean, some of the best horror films as of late have come from people with a comedy background. Jordan Peele, for example. John Krasinski with the Quiet Place movies. And even recently, there's been a lot of good word of mouth about Barbarian, directed by Zach Krager of The Whitest Kids You Know. But it's sad for me to say that John Carpenter is sadly no John Landis. I mean, he's a great director, fantastic director. Most of his stuff that he's made has been really good. Halloween, The Thing, just so many great movies to his name, and really, this was a major missed opportunity. I think the trailer showed off a lot of potential for what this could have been. This was when Chevy Chase was still popular. John Carpenter was still a reliable name. His last film, They Live, which was a big hit. Really, you didn't think this could go wrong. And I mean, this movie was also at one point going to be directed by Ivan Reitman, which would have been very interesting to see, especially after he had done Kindergarten Cop. But of course, that didn't happen. And one of the problems with the movie is that it definitely doesn't feel like a John Carpenter movie. You're trying to combine a Carpenter film with something that Chevy Chase would do, and it just doesn't blend together very well at all. Some of the positives I have for this, the visual effects in this movie are really impressive. It's Industrial Light and Magic putting a lot of time and effort into this, and it really does hold up even after 30 years. And really the biggest problem, I think the cast in this movie doesn't really work all that well. They have a really good cast here. You've got Chase, of course, Daryl Hannah, Sam Neill, pre-Jurassic Park. They're doing the best with the material given to them, but the script doesn't really give them a lot to work with. They're just there to play basic characters. And for the most part, Chase and Hannah's relationship, their chemistry, works pretty well. And I would honestly say it's one of the strongest points of the film that really works. But the script really is a major problem. They take a potentially brilliant new take on the Invisible Man and just kind of take the cheap way out. It's like it's trying to be safe and marketable to people. And you have some great writing people on here. Dana Olson wrote The Burbs, later would go on to write George of the Jungle, which is one of the better adaptations of a TV series. William Goldman, an Oscar-winning writer for Butch Cassidy, The Sundance Kid, All the President's Men, he wrote The Princess Bride. 2 very solid writers, and it really just feels like they're just cashing a paycheck here. And like I said before, it's John Carpenter not really seeming like the right fit for this type of film. Maybe if he got somebody like Reitman or John Landis to do this, probably would have worked a lot better. But, I mean, to the movie's credit, it's not terrible. It's definitely a lot better than Chase's last February film, which was Nothing But Trouble, which is an abomination on so many levels. There is effort being put into this. I just don't think it worked out as well as I think they wanted it to. It's a major missed opportunity. It's a movie that I'm glad I saw it. I thought it was somewhat decent, but it's definitely very forgettable. It's like, as soon as I watched it, I immediately forgot about it afterwards. It's just like, it's not one that's going to warrant a lot of rewatchability, but, I mean, I'm glad I saw it once, but I'm probably not going to watch it again anytime soon, so. That's Memoirs of an Invisible Man. Let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Gate 2. Never saw this movie before, never saw the first Gate, but the first Gate had an interesting idea to it, but just from the trailer that I saw, but Gate 2 just really looks like they're just rehashing the same plot as the first movie, and, I mean, it's got Bobby Hill in it, Pam Segal, of course, nowadays she's Pam Adlon, who has also been great on Better Things. She's done a lot of great voice work ever since this movie. She's in it. That's pretty much all I got for you on this one, because I really know nothing else about it, and I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on it. So, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Armand Assante and Antonio Banderas starring in The Mambo King. You know, honestly, this is kind of an underrated gem. I don't think this director has done anything of noteworthiness after this movie. This director, Arnie Glimcher, I think I'm pronouncing that name right. He did Just Cause, which I can't remember who was in it. Sean Connery and Lawrence Fishburne. That's probably his biggest movie that he made as a director after this movie. But then after that, he just kind of disappeared. He made one more movie in '99, and then he hasn't been heard from since. I don't know if he's passed away or just hasn't gotten any filmos since then. But he did a pretty good job with this movie. He has a great casting in here with Armand Assante and Antonio Banderas. You also have Kathy Moriarty in here. The music overall is very nicely done. The visuals are very nice. It's a nice little film. It's a movie that doesn't really get a whole lot of attention. One of its songs, Beautiful Maria, My Soul, got a nomination for an Academy Award, which, if you heard that song, it's actually really good. So, yeah, this is definitely a movie that's very underrated. It's a movie that I think people should find it if you can. I'm sure you can find it on streaming somewhere for free, or maybe on DVD, but I'd say definitely check it out. It's definitely a very underrated movie, and it also kind of shows Antonio Banderas is like how he started his potential as an actor, because I think this was one of his earliest movies that he was in before he broke out into stardom in the 90s. So, yeah, I'd say definitely check out the Mambo Kings if you can. So, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie that we have here, and that is Liam Neeson and Laura San Giacomo in Under Suspicion. I guess this is the title they use all the time, because when I tried to look for this trailer online, I thought I had it, but it turns out I had a trailer for the 1999 movie Under Suspicion, which had Morgan Freeman, Gene Hackman. It was directed by the guy who did Blown Away, which we'll get to in '94. But no, this movie is just pretty much a different story. This is basically it's an erotic thriller. That's pretty much what this is. The trailer doesn't really show, but looking it up online, it's just another erotic thriller, and really not one that doesn't seem like it's all that memorable. And you haven't seen it, can't really comment on it too much, but yeah, that's pretty much all. That's pretty much all I got for you. I'm sorry, I can't really go into most of these movies that I haven't seen. I don't know what you want me to do, but let's go ahead and move on to the last movie here, if I can get the title here, and that is Where Angels Fear to Tread. This is essentially a Merchant Ivory movie, but it's not made by the Merchant Ivory people. It's based off of a story by a book by Ian Foster. It's got Helen Bonham Carter in it, and Judy Davis, and Helen Mirren. Again, that's pretty much all I got for you, because I haven't seen this movie. I can't really comment on it too much, but it's, like I said, it's written by the same person that also gave us A Room with a View, and then Howard's End later in the year. That's it. That's... Again, I'm sorry I'm not giving you too much here, but, yeah, that's really all I can give you. It doesn't look too bad, though. I mean, it's just not my type of thing, so that's it. That's all I got for you on Where Angels Fear to Tread. So that kind of ended on a sour note, but that's going to do it for another edition of Time About the Movies. Next time, we'll talk about the first 5 new films of March '92, including one of the bigger hits of the time period, and that was The Lawnmower Man. We also have Cuba Gooding Jr. in Gladiator. Not that Gladiator, a different Gladiator. This one's about boxing. But we also have the crime comedy Once Upon a Crime, the comedy Blame It on the Bellboy, and also Terminal Bliss. So we'll look at those movies next time we meet. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, if you want to see more videos like this, check out the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time, and until then, take care.